Mr. Joseph Nwakwue, if you can hear me, let's talk about, start with what Nate said. Well, not really looking at the figures, but the negatives of all theft seems to be eating deep into our economy. What is your reaction to this at first, and all efforts being made to address it?
Yeah, I mean, oil theft hurts the economy and the business in very many ways. Like you did say, it has economic, environmental, and security implications. So I will start by looking at the economic. The people who developed the assets had based the development plan on a certain price and a certain volume that they will produce. So when you steal from them, essentially you've made the project uneconomic. And remember, they've already invested, so they're going to run at a loss. So that's one thing they have. So what will that do? It will mean that it's going to take them much longer time to recover their cost, and they might not be willing to reinvest. So that's one major thing. So it's a significant disincentive for the investment community. For the government, it is lost revenues as well, because no royalties and by implication, no taxes will be paid on those volumes. So that's economic. For the communities where this happens, it leads to significant devastation of the environment. We've already seen pictures when these guys break the pipe, they don't seal it properly and all that. There'll be a lot of spillage and environmental damage due to that. So those are issues. And of course, essentially people who are doing this will have way too much resources that occasionally the state might not be able to contain them. So that's another security implication that might portend.
A good start indeed. But like many will say, not just anyone will go to rupture a pipeline, move it into the vessels and all of that. This is like a calculated international crime. Where do we go from here?
Well, where we go is, I think there's been a lot of activity in this space. We've seen some improvements in the numbers, and that's heartwarming. And I hope that they continue to put pressure to ensure that people who have invested money to develop these assets actually get the benefits that they expect. Something I forgot to say is that when this thing happens, typically it leads to shutting. When it's discovered, the operator will shut in that production, right? So that equally hurts the country, because you now have deferred production. So that's a major, and we've seen a lot of that. Because when lines are broken into, naturally the operators, once they figure it out, they will shut in the wells. Once they shut in the wells, it means they're not producing, so they're not making money. The country is not producing, the country is not making money. So everybody loses, except the oil tip. So it's really an important and critical piece. As we look for investment in the sector, we need to guarantee the investors that indeed they will reap the benefits of their investment. We don't want to give them the impression that it's a hit and miss.
A good one. But we've also been talking about cost of production. I know we've gone this route before, Mr. Nwakwue, but I want to ask, how well is the NNPCL trying to manage cost of production? I'm talking about crude here now, in country. They talked about trying to reduce it for benefit of all. I don't know. Can you tell us how far we've gone with that, and what's the positive that we have in that?
Well, I don't know what the numbers look like today, but the last time I checked, for the onshore shallow water is closer to $30 per barrel. The last time I looked at the numbers, so that's very high for those terrains. That's typically what you will expect in the deep water. Sure. What's the implication when you have theft? Remember that one key measure for your cost is what we call the unit technical cost. So really it's about all your costs, both CapEx and OpEx, divided by the volume. So when your volumes are being stolen, it gives the impression that your unit technical cost is going to be very high, right? and it's going to be uncompetitive. So your margins are being eroded. So also when you discover that your lines have been breached and you shut in production,
all right,
your cost will hit the roof. Your unit cost will hit the roof.